start of a brand new weekly vlog. I don't think I vlogged yesterday. If I did, insert clips here, but I don't think I did. So it's a brand new week, here's brand new books, and I've got a lot to read still, but we are only on the 13th of the month, so I'm not too concerned. What I will say is last night I did finish Full Metal Alchemist, as I said I would. I didn't start Witch or Blue Exorcist Volume 4, but I will be reading Blue Exorcist Volume 4 today. I have just come off the live with Catherine, Smash and Chloe. We discussed God's Grave, and it was just so nice to be able to chat to the girls about God's Grave. I'm just so glad we did, because all four of us have had so many thoughts. It ran for almost 2 hours. If you're interested, it's on Catherine's channel. I'll leave it linked down below. But we had thoughts, feelings and ponderances. It was a lot. but this week, starting with the Iron Crown, I've already started this, and oh my god, this starts with such a gripping situation. It's just so good, and it immediately delves into the magic. I don't know what it is about me and magic, but I just love it so much, and it's really strange. If an author can describe something to me, and if I can then imagine that as a scene in a movie or a series, or like on screen, should I say, then it immediately has me hooked. And this starting scene, I could just imagine playing out on screen, and it was so good. I will give more thoughts on this in the vlog that I'm doing for this book, but if you're interested, when it's available, I will leave it linked down below or in the cards somewhere. But this is by Ellen McRae, by the way, The Iron Crown, and it's for a vlog. I'm excited! So excited! I am also now reading Red, White and Royal Blue. I do have the physical copy. I thought it was in the bedroom, but it's not. It is here. I decided to read this now. I was gonna wait. This is Chloe's pick for my 12 books, 12 prompts, and for the book up for the month of March. I'm gonna hold that, otherwise it's gonna keep swinging. But today I had some not so great news, and I wasn't gonna mention this initially, but I tell you guys the majority of what happens in my life, so I feel like this will come out anyway during conversation at some point. But unfortunately, I no longer work where I was working before, and it's not because it wasn't a good place to work, and it isn't for any reason that like I wasn't good at my job or anything. Unfortunately, I was working through an agency as a temp to perm, but for the first 12 weeks I was working through the agency, being paid by the agency. The company that I was working for through the agency has unfortunately been going through some difficult times, shall we say, and they've had to go through like a consultation period and make some redundancies. So obviously, as a business, they're currently paying out for an agency member of staff, and they're putting so they had to let me go so that they could go through the consultation period with their permanent members of staff. There's no point putting them through redundancy but then keeping in a temp member of staff, if that makes sense. So had this not have happened, they had already confirmed to me that they would have kept me on, and that would have been perfect because the hours were great, the people were lovely, I was really settling in, and yeah, so unfortunately it just wasn't to be on this occasion. Back to square one, I'm back to job searching again. I had a little bit of a moment earlier, like, to myself, just, yeah, it's not been the best of times as of late. I'm trying, really trying to continue to stay positive, because if I give up and think of the negatives, then I will have a breakdown, which I am not ready for, nor do I want. So we're just gonna mosey on through. So I know that this will have some happy bits in it, but I also know from my history with indie authors especially, they do also bring me quite a lot of pain. Whereas with Red, White and Royal Blue, I know that there will be an inevitable third act blip, but they will have a happy ending. Because I'm in the mood and I need happy times and not too much pain right now, I'm going for this. And if I need some more happiness, I'm going to move on to another contemporary. I have a few on my shelves now, so we'll just see how we go with this and see how it plays out. My TBR may slightly change because I had a lot of fantasy that I wanted to read, and I'm just not sure that the fantasy I was going to read will be the right kind of thing for me this week. However, I will give you a lowdown of what I was planning to read, and again, as usual, I give you a list. This list will probably change because although I have a set TBR, I moved to read through my TBR. I want to read Bookstores Volume 4 and The Witch. The Witch Volume 1 was just a quick short graphic novel that I wanted to read to break up my bigger books for the month. I think that The Witch is going to be a cute, cosy vibe, so I think especially now with the way that I've been feeling, I will probably head towards reading more of them, like light graphic novels. I might reread Witches of Brooklyn, and I might reread Light, what's it called? Light something? Light Water, Light Blade, Light something. I will put it up here, a picture, and it was a cute and cozy graphic novel. Originally, it was Jade from Jade Reads that I saw reading it, and book 2 in this series is out. I just haven't had much chance to get a hold of it yet, and I really enjoyed this, so I might read some cute fun contemporaries. I might reread the Brown Sister trilogy. It's a thing I might do, but also I'm gonna be picking up this as well this week. I think this is gonna be more of a whimsical read than a heart-wrenching painful read, and if this here is what I'm going off, is that this is gonna be, it might have some heartbreaking moments, but I think it might be quite cozy fantasy-esque. I may be wrong and be shooting myself in the foot, but we shall see. The books I need to read this week, one of them is Crescent Moon by AJ Double, because the podcast is next Wednesday, but this is only short, so this is a definite for this week because we need thoughts for next week. That's the podcast book. The other ones that I'm unsure of, but I know that I do need to read for book tours, are Heliotrope or Heliotrope, I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm going to say Heliotrope because I'm a common northerner. I am going to make my way through this, making my way downtown. And there's also A Sword of Wrath and Mercy, I think that's what it's called. That is also a book that I need to read by the 20th, which is next Monday. That is for a review because it's due to be published on the 20th, I think, and my review needs to be up before it gets released. Reading plans, my approximate plans for the week. It's currently 10 o'clock, and because I don't have work tomorrow, I'm probably going to just sit up and read. And I probably will get through the entirety of this book at this point. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe not, actually. I'm lying to you. This is 5 hours on audio on 2.2 speed that I have on at the moment. So maybe I won't read the full book, but I will read quite a bit of this book before I go to bed, and we'll just see how we get on. And I hope I like this even half as much as Chloe does, because this is like one of Chloe's favourite books, and I don't want to not like it. I mean, obviously I don't go into a book thinking I'm going to dislike it, but I really want to like it because Chloe really likes it, and I think I will, but we'll see. I will come and update you later.
I'll be there in 15, baby, you know you got me. You got me. Wish you knew me at 19. Back then I wasn't talking to anyone but me.
Hello friends, it's Wednesday and I'm just about to go to bed to read, not to actually sleep, because who needs sleep?
No sir, not me.
I'm just going to give you an update on my Marvelathon and Final Book Support Group Readathon TBR situations. I finished Delilah Green Doesn't Care. I started and I've almost finished that time I got drunk and saved a demon. I will then be moving on to the time I yeeted a potion bottle at a werewolf. I think that's what the other one's called. And I'm avoiding reading Queen of Fairy and Darkness and Our Dark Duet, Jade Legacy and Dark Dawn. I have read the first bit of Dark Dawn where it recaps what happens in God's grave, but that's all I've read. So far for the Final Book Support Group, I have read Mockingjay. For a light cover, I chose Delilah Green Doesn't Care. For a big book, I'm choosing The Iron Crown, and that's what I'm also currently reading. I have read a bit more of that today. Hiking Trail is to go for a walk. I will be doing that tomorrow. Poking to the Bear's Cave, Something Dark and Dangerous. I've chosen Dark Dawn for that. But the one thing that I need to do is pick a colour. So the last prompt that I need to fulfill that I haven't picked a book for is use a colour wheel. So we're just gonna spin this and see what colour comes up. Red. Just finished Red, White and Royal Blue the other day. And that has quite a bit of red on the cover. I'm just gonna have a quick check because Black Widow also has a lot of red on the cover. I'm going to have a look to see if any of the other books that I've got to read for the rest of this week or month have red on the cover. So there's a couple that could potentially work for this, and it is very, very slight on some of them. So up here, and the feathers in the cap, and then part of the cape has red on the cover. Very clearly there is a red moon on this. I do have to read this for the podcast, so ideally I should really use this and get this done for the podcast. But this isn't on my official TBR. I want to read it because I want to read the whole series before May, just in case I do get to go and meet Sebastian Castell in May, if things work out the way that I want them to. Traitor's Blade. I've also already read all the Spellslinger series. I have today just got an arc of Malevolent 7, and I would love to be able to read that for me in May as well, so I can then say I've read most of Castell by the time I meet him. The only things I won't have been able to read are The Way and the Fall of the Argosy and the Swashbuckling Tales short stories things that he brought out. I think it was a short story collection, but yeah, I really want to read these. Because it's a podcast book, I'm going to pick this up first, I think. And as soon as I've read this and finished The Iron Crown and finished Dark Dawn, I will have done the Final Book Support Group books. And this is only like less than 150 pages. I'm just scared of picking up Dark Dawn, and I'm the one that's hosting the live shows for Our Dark Duet, Queen of Fairy and Darkness and Dark Dawn, so I need to take notes on all three of those because I am the host. No, I'm not the host for Queen of Fairy and Darkness. I'm just on the live show. Jade Legacy is what I'm the host for, and I can't start that yet because the live show for that isn't until tomorrow. I think what I might do is finish that time I got drunk and saved a dragon, and I'm gonna be good and put some ambience on and put my headphones on and just read some of this instead, possibly. I don't know. I've got a lot that I need to read. God of Mercy and Wrath by N.C. Cusis. I need to read that before the 20th. So for 5 days. But bear in mind, I don't have work at the moment, so I've got like Thursday, Friday because Saturday I am at my parents' house, Sunday's Mother's Day, so I don't know when I'm going back. I have like 2 days to read Sword of Mercy and Wrath, so technically I really should pick up that and this. I'm a procrastinator, it's what I do, it is my life, so we'll just have to see. I'll decide. I'm gonna still get up early and try and be productive tomorrow, even though I'm not in work. But, and I've got like jobs to apply for and stuff, so Friday I do also have a meeting with the job centre. So I need to make sure I get my ID and stuff sorted for the job centre. Oh, I hate this. I hate this so much. I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything is fine. Hello friends. I'm coming in on Friday to give you a little update on what I'm reading. I'm gonna take these off because I feel like, yeah, again, I'm shouting at you. I am reading The Sword of Wrath and Mercy. I will put the picture up here. So far, the concept is good. I'm really enjoying like the introduction to the world and that kind of thing. I am struggling a little bit with the writing style. I'm fully aware this is an author debut, so I am not trying to be too harsh with the writing, because I know with some, again, not all, with some indie authors or with some authors in general, it could take a while for them to come into the writing style. And I think I mentioned this in previous videos, sometimes the editing that is done with debut books is not always the same as what is done on more well-known authors and that kind of thing. So I'm taking that all into account when I'm reading. At the moment, it's feeling like 3 stars. It's good. The bare bones is there, the concept is there. It's just at times the dialogue and writing style is a little bit clunky and difficult to follow. Some parts could have been expanded on more and would have benefited from maybe different perspectives, such as like a certain thing could have been done as a flashback rather than just a telling situation. Could have shown you a flashback of the situation this person was remembering to give her the more an impact to the reader a bit more. And then some things could have done with being maybe edited down a bit, like some of the things didn't need to be described as much and words being duplicated, things like that. So I think it could have done with another edit. Whether or not it's a case of the editor gave notes, the author didn't really take the notes on board, or the editor didn't give the notes, I don't know. It's still readable, it's still good, and I am going to continue with the book, and providing that still keeps me interested, which it currently is, I will continue with the sequel as and when that comes out. I just hope that the writing develops as the book goes on, if that makes any sense. So I'm reading that. I think I told you that I read The Time I Got Drunk and saved a something, The Demon. I gave that 4 stars. I am not going to read the next one after that, which is The Time I Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. I think that's the title, by Kimberly Jennings, I think that's her name. I will be saving that until after I have read some of the other things I need to read. So I need to finish this and do my review before Monday. I need to read Crescent Moon so that I can do just discuss that with Jem on the podcast. And I need to ideally start one of my other books that I need to read for the read-alongs I'm doing. So either Queen of Air and Darkness, Dark Dawn, Jade Legacy, or Art Duet. Probably going to be Queen of Air and Darkness that I hit first, because that is the one that's going to be the first live show. So I'm going to put myself through that pain. I do have the audiobook for that. So yay for me. Currently on sprints with Smash and Becca. I've already had one decorate. I'm halfway through the other. Slightly tipsy already, because if you know me, I don't drink a lot. Therefore, the little alcohol that I do drink goes to my head straight away. And I haven't had much to eat today either, so it's hitting me quickly. I don't know how much more I'm going to read physically, so I might switch over to the audio like on the next sprint. I don't know how many of my sprints, I don't know how many more sprints we're going to do, how long we're going for. But yeah, I'm gonna go now because I want to drink and read. Hello friends, today is Sunday and I have not read all weekend. I don't know what the accent was, but it's not the right one I wanted. I don't know what videos, I don't know what books I've read for this vlog, I don't know what I've done for this vlog. Seems to be the running theme recently. I don't know what I'm doing with my life in general, and there's glare, so I'm going to take these off and pretend that I am a normal human being for a change, but it's not going to happen really, is it? I don't know what I'm doing. That's by the by. I don't know how things are going to be going for the next few weeks. There's potential, possibly, for a job coming up, but it means that it'll be for the foreseeable. I might have to stop sprints on a Tuesday. Just depends how the job works out. I've had other stuff going on that I've been having to sort of work out, and also I'm gonna have to work out when we can do the podcast. I'm sure we'll be able to work it out. It'll be fine. I don't want, as much as I don't want to not go for a job because I've got this, I don't want a job to affect everything that I built here, if that makes any sense. So it could mean that I reduce my videos down to 2 a week and may have to stop Tuesday sprints for the foreseeable. It is what it is. I hope that you don't mind that. That's if it comes to fruition. It might not happen, but there's a couple of jobs I've gone for which will either mean not regular Tuesday sprints or having to stop Tuesday sprints altogether. That's just my life at the moment. It's fun, and yeah, and I definitely don't want to stop doing this because this is one of the few things in life that I take pleasure in doing. It's one of the few things in my life that I do for myself that brings me happiness. So don't want to give any of this up if I can. Definitely not going to be giving it up totally. It's just that certain things might change, and I hope that you don't mind if they do. Life in general has been stressing me out, so I've not really been reading near the back end of this week. Brain's not been available to process things in an appropriate manner, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I have, however, received a book today. I was decided to practice some self-care in a way that is a typical Lisa thing to do, buying a hardcover of book 3 in a companion series type thing. And I don't have books 1 and 2 in hardback, I have them in paperback, but this was staring at me on the Olympic website, and I thought, why not? Why not? I enjoyed books 1 and 2. I give both books 5 stars. I've heard Becca didn't like this one as much. Now that I've got this, I just have to find books 1 and 2 in hardcover. So if you have books 1 and 2 in hardcover and you don't want them, hit me up, because we can work something out. She says. I have also been in touch with Tilly, who's unhauling some phone codes for postage, and I may be possibly sending her some Great British pounds. Self-care, guys, self-care. And at the moment, this is my self-care. I'm playing Switch. I'm playing Dreamlight Valley, and that has also been a happy place for me. Scrolling through TikTok, finding random clips of Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki and Misha Barton, what's his name? Misha from Supernatural. Have I watched any of the Supernatural show? No. Did I also spoil myself for something that happens to a character called Charlie in said show? I did. However, I'm loving them doing interviews, and it's bringing me joy, and it just, honestly, it's where I'm at right now. And there's that, or on Instagram there's animal videos with voiceovers that are just really ridiculous. And I also maybe watched a few times on repeat the bad lip syncing to Yoda. Down to the beach I'm strolling, and the seagulls, well, yeah, that one. Also, I found a playlist that I made a while ago of songs from The Witcher TV show and the game that me and my friend used to listen to together, and I started listening to that again. It's just not been a reading back end of the week, to be fair, but there are a few books that I need to get done. I am 50% through Sword of Mercy and Wrath. I think that's what it's called. It's Wrath and Mercy, or Mercy and Wrath by N.C. Kusis. I am halfway through that. I need to finish that today. I do also need to start and finish Crescent Moon by E.J. Double for Wednesday, when the podcast is being filmed. and they will get read. There's not a problem with that. That's absolutely, like, that will get done. Whether or not that gets done today is another matter. I definitely need to finish Sword of Mercy and Wrath today, because it needs to go up for a review tomorrow. But I have 2 hours, an hour and 45. An hour and 45? 2 hours, an hour and 45? Yeah, an hour and 45 before Becca starts the Moon Knight watch along for episodes 4, 5 and 6. I will be taking part in that because, oh my god, episodes 1, 2 and 3 we just haven't watched it. Watch it. I know I'm late to the game. You probably already all watched it by now, but it is what it is. I'm basic as fuck. You all know this by now. I've just come back from my mum and dad's house. We had a lovely day yesterday and morning today, and I cooked Sunday roast for my mum for Mother's Day. My sister came down with one of my nephews, and we had a fun Sunday dinner, which was nice, and it was just really nice to spend some time with my mum. We started watching Umbrella Academy season 3. Again, I know I'm late to this, and we are 4 or 5 episodes in now. It's still very ridiculous. Also very confusing because we watched season 2 probably as soon as it came out. So there was a few things that we forgot happened. There was a character I had to Google to look up because she was like, oh, insert name here. And we were like, who is this guy? And why is he here? And we know now why he's there and who he is. And also still very confused. A good end to a not so fantabulous week. But we move, we vibe, we keep going. Don't give up. It's okay. We do it okay. Okay is where we're at right now. Not great, not ridiculously low. We just meh. And meh is fine. I will try and be better next week. I will try and give you better updates. I will try and be more positive, but sometimes life gets in the way, and putting a half mask on all the time, it gets a bit much. So sometimes I just have to yeah. Sorry if this ended on a bit of a downer. Not what I wanted, but I share my life with you guys for the most part, and I just don't want to have to pretend to be all happy and cheery and chirpy when I'm not feeling that way, because then I feel like I'm being fake, and that's really not me. Anyone who knows me knows that that's really not me. Hopefully next week will be better. Things potentially moving forward. Keep your fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything crossed for me, because I need this, guys. I really do. If you do like me and you want to see more of me, preferably you'll see me in another vlog that's happier than this one. Then please like, comment, subscribe to all that good stuff. If you do want to show me your support but you don't have anything to say, then just please leave a black heart so I know that you are here. And until next time, I hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I will see you. Every time I fall in love, it seems to be